The connection, soul family and their importance on our journey. Soul family and their importance on our journey. This is something I wrote in 2023 and found it in my journal only last night. The words are supposed to be shared, so here we go. As I take this trip to Zagreb, I recognize the incredible support of my soul family and support team. The network of this family is so wonderful, and many would not believe the intensity of the connections we share. Between us, we are guiding and helping one another along in so many ways. We all share different perspectives but have the same goal: to help others to break the chains that bind them. As the various soul groups are refined, or, for want of a better expression, guided to form a core team of earth angels, the personal effects of transition are gaining momentum. We all have different skill sets and powers, and as we expand our consciousness, so do others too. Each has their own unique connection with their divine counterpart, but fundamentally the state of our union is achieved within us, as well as at a higher level. We are each fulfilling our lives knowing what we do is all about sharing our knowledge and wisdom with others. There is no time for fluff as we all sense the urgency, as we see others floundering in a state of confusion. Labels and terminologies. Labels have a way of characterizing everything we do or feel today. This is the wonder globalization and common standards introduced over the centuries. This is a man-made terminology and has been carefully programmed into the human psyche. Labeling allows us to easily recognize certain situations, but in effect, we are generalizing everything in the same way. As we awaken to the real truth of ourselves, the significance of labels disappears. We no longer require this pre-packaged way of being, we transcend the labels. We are expanding our mind and body, by shattering the belief systems that we have carried all our lives. The journey to our true core is a massive struggle for the psyche, ego-mind, which continually presents circumstances or situations that we have to deal with. Detaching from ego allows us to properly digest all that is and to form a proper response. The response comes from the new we have created for ourselves. Focusing our energy on our own core center or microcosmos allows us to feel what is important for us. As we detach more from society, we feel more of our true self and core values. The questioning of all that has been shown to us is being scrutinized and is slowly being prepared for eviction. As we evict, we clear space for the new to move into its place. The harder we work through the self-diagnostics, the sooner we can formulate the new. There will eventually come a point when we say, I have done enough. And this is the point of change. Point of change. As we reach this turning point, we can take a breather and reflect on our own situation. It is then we begin to implement the new into everyday life. Slowly old habits and templates do come back, as well as some repeating patterns. We do ask ourselves, why have these returned? At this point, we take another look at ourselves through new eyes. We know the reason we have undertaken this transformation, it is far bigger than our own self. As the repeat performances return, it is time again to delve into our core. To again evict the old in affirmation of our newfound self. And that a higher consciousness is here to stay. This cycle will continue for the remainder of our lives, but there is a distinct difference in how we process the old ways. We are consciously aware of the triggers and reactions, therefore we can act before the lower vibrations gather momentum. We treat the old ways with love, and sure enough, they disappear, as our own energy is so very powerful. The ego mind is integrated with our vessel, and will always remain part of us. We begin to treat it with compassion, respect, and more importantly positive energy. We shall acknowledge the ego is real, and embrace it within us. As it surfaces we greet it accordingly. If we react instantly we begin to fuel the fire of the ego, and quickly it gains momentum. As with all fires, they can be controlled or allowed to become wildfires. It is a matter of personal choice. When we acknowledge our ego in the moment, we tend to shock it, but this is a tremendous reward for us personally. Self-mastery at its early stages, looking for answers. The brighter we shine, the bigger the shadows. If we remain focused on our true self, then the energy remains in our hands. It is entirely an individual choice what to do with the shadows. Living with them is the simplest course of action. Processing them and treating them to a dose of love, so that we truly transcend them. There are millions of individuals who are waking up, and wondering what the hell is happening to them. They are reaching out for answers, as they become afraid of their own inner voice. In some cases, it is a time to head for the mountains and run away as far as possible, in effect hiding from the calling. Detaching from the outside world in some way, shape or form is part of the process also. Each of us requires our time so we can integrate the new into our day-to-day living. It is very difficult to create something new when we are surrounded by the same old things and ways. Therefore some quality time for self shall be included on the way. Almost everything we have learned or been shown to be true will be subject to scrutiny, and replaced with new. Living in today's fast-moving world, we often make the excuse there is no time available for this type of work. In reality, the purpose of this whole journey is to discover our true self. Removing what if or why from our vocabulary is important. Through the changes we make, manifestation becomes a natural part of everyday life. Soon we experience the changes on a bigger scale and in every part of our lives. Self-belief, Believing in what we are capable of and what we are feeling is crucial. Trusting in our own abilities grants permission for our true inner essence to come to the surface. Knowing for sure that we are on the true path of life, not the illusion we created previously. Empowering ourselves in a way that we become the priority and focus, self-belief is born. The path we have chosen may seem a little daunting at the beginning, but soon it becomes a road, to a highway and then a superhighway. The world is our oyster. As the roads become wider, so do our own abilities, and they begin to merge with others on a similar path. This is where the magic begins to occur, as like-minded souls connect, and shift focus on to more important matters. We begin to take a different view on humanity and the course of mankind. We are here to make a difference, and now. Whilst our journey is infinite, perhaps for the first time in our many incarnations, we finally get to witness the bigger picture. Rose-colored glasses are off, and the brain is functioning on both sides. Blank canvases of creation come to our minds, and we begin to create the landscape for the future generations. This becomes our mission, sharing unconditional love with all that is and connect with. Begin to open up and share similar thoughts. The grid begins to rapidly light up. Pockets of super energy emerge that form a ring of loving energy across the globe, and beyond. It is this perhaps we are striving to achieve: oneness, balance, harmony and peace, new agenda and direction. Our lives take on a new shape and purpose. It becomes more an act of service at an unprecedented level. We will join together with other like-minded souls, to create a myriad of multidimensional energies that is shared and spread across the planet. As our purpose becomes more apparent in our consciousness, we begin to feel an urge to step out of comfort zones. We may do something controversial or out of the box, to society. We are crazy or suffering some form of mental illness. Don't allow society to dictate your path. It is yours to live and love as you see fit. We are really at the beginning. We will walk paths with people we have known before, whether in this or other timelines. Universal energies support us, and as do our loved ones. Spirit guides gather around in celebration of our achievements and encourage us to continue in love. As the pace begins to quicken, many may feel like they are hanging on the edge of a cliff. It is time to let go and fly. For those that are struggling to come to terms with their lives, in all honesty, you really have to grab the bull by the horns and stop the denial. It is time to allow the inner God, to come to the surface. Step away from what is comfortable and known, and discover the true inner beauty and essence you are. Actions speak louder than words. The time for procrastination is over. You are very much necessary and needed. Help on your journey. Throughout your journey, there will always be a support network to assist and guide you. Together you will help each other navigate the 7 seas, the highest mountains, as well as the darkest places. Part and parcel of the process, that will end in mutually beneficial results for all. When feeling a low vibration, it is normally better to keep it within and try to discover the trigger. Try not to tell the whole world, as this simply just transmits another low vibe to the masses. Process it with your consciousness and treat it with love. Love dissolves all lower vibrations, for that is the power of love. Processing is part of the journey, which is a mammoth undertaking, especially in society today. Why do you think there is so much false hope and truth floating in the air? To keep you busy with other issues, and away from your own self. It is a lot of work, which is challenging and testing, but without the work, we will quickly return to the old ways. If you are not prepared to do the inner work yourself, there is no magical cure, despite what is written to the contrary. Should the work become cumbersome, it is okay to take a break to adjust. We become brave, as bravery is an action that comes from inside. Being brave is a selfish decision that shatters the ego, particularly when empowering self. Bravery with no medals. There are no medals for this kind of bravery, just a new vessel and purity we have never had the pleasure of experiencing in the past. This sensation is priceless, and the more we are able to fully enjoy the moment, the bigger the reward. The best things in life are free and freedom. Unconditional love does not cost a single penny but lasts an eternity. Today unconditional love is in short supply. It is the right time to open the floodgates of love so we can flood the planet to create heaven on earth. Shifting in consciousness is an inevitable part of our evolution. Those at the forefront of the change recognize the impact on the way our future generations will remember this point in time. Let's make it a pleasant memory, not a repeat of the same old ways. Each of us has the power to create a change not only for ourselves, but others also. I trust this piece enlightens some of you and helps in some way guide you on your journey. Sharing the love with one and all.